What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JBsports, back again with another one. We're 2 days out before the biggest female fight in boxing history. Bigger than Layla Ali versus Jackie Clyde Frazier, which produced 100,000 pay-per-view buys in the U.S. To this day, it's the highest selling women boxing fight in history. This fight has a chance to surpass that. Now, it's going to be on ESPN Plus, so that's not the traditional pay-per-view, but it is a pay-per-view. You got to buy ESPN Plus in order to watch Shields versus Marshall. It'd be interesting to see if they put out the numbers for this fight, man. If it does, I believe it has a chance to surpass Layla Ali versus Jackie Clyde Frazier. Now, the only thing that be working against this fight is going to be going down in the U.S. in the afternoon. Around 4 o'clock is approximate time this fight is supposed to jump off. And as we know, Layla Ali versus Jackie Clyde Frazier, that fight took place in prime time in the U.S. So that's what's working against that fight, surpassing Jackie Frazier versus Layla Ali. That's what's it's up against, the time slots. So we will see what happens. We will see what transpires. But this fight is bigger than Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano, which took place earlier this year at Madison Square Garden in the Mecca of Boxing. Well, what used to be known as the Mecca of Boxing. The Mecca of Boxing now is in Las Vegas, Nevada, aka Sin City. No particular venue, but all the big fights for the most part are taking place in Las Vegas. With all that being said, this is a very intriguing matchup featuring two undefeated champions. Now, you let Claressa tell it, it's a big gap between those two champions. I got 12 belts, she got 1. You look at my resume, and her resume is like night and day. Just let Claressa Shields tell it. She believes that Savannah Marshall really ain't done nothing in boxing, that she beating a bunch of girls on 3-week notice with losing records, and have beaten them after she beaten them. Basically, beating her leftovers is what Claressa Shields is implying. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. But as far as the matchup goes, it's a very even matchup. I give the speed advantage to Shields. I give her the advantages of having the quicker feet. I believe she has the better jab. She does a great job of doubling and tripling up on her jab. And she's been at this level multiple times. This is Savannah Marshall's first time at this level. Now, they've got a couple of opponents that they both have fought in. But the thing about it is, Claressa fought them before Savannah fought them. And let Claressa Shields tell it, when her opponents felt her power and felt that they couldn't compete with her skill-wise, that they basically went into survival mode. Savannah Marshall says, well, you ain't got no power. That's why you have to go 10 rounds in a boring fight. And that's why you got to come over here and fight me in the UK, because you can't sell in the US with your style of fighting and lack of power. This is what Savannah Marshall is saying. Claressa Shields say, I am the A-side, which when you look at the promos and look at the poster, her name is first. It's Shields versus Marshall, not Marshall versus Shields, even though it's in Shields' hometown, home country. So we will see what happens. We will see what transpires. Now, Savannah Marshall can compete with Shields because she can compete skill-wise. I'm not saying she has better skills than Claressa Shields. I'm not saying her skills are equal to Claressa Shields. I'm saying she can compete skill-wise. I think people have watched these two fight and they say, well, shit, she can't compete with Claressa Shields. Claressa Shields is on another level as far as skill-wise. I don't hold that same opinion. I believe she's competitive skill-wise. I think the problem she's going to have is the speed, because she is very slow with her punches. Now, her upper body movement is very good. She knows how to roll punches. She has mastered the Fury style. So that's going to present some problems for Shields, because she's never seen that in the ring. But Marshall ain't never seen a fighter of the caliber of a Shields either, with the type of hand speed and the type of boxing knowledge, a high boxing IQ Claressa Shields has, and her great footwork. And she knows how to punch with her opponent. She knows how to, even though she only has 2 KOs, she's got enough pop on her punch where her opponents don't try to walk her down. You notice that, don't you? And, you know, if everybody say, well, she only got 2 KOs. If that was the case, you would see her opponents trying to walk her down, you know, coming in with the high guard and, you know, saying, okay, might have to take a couple of punches. I might have to eat a couple of punches, but when I get close, I'm going to be able to do some damage. They're not willing to sacrifice that because they know that she does have power. They know if they try to come through the front door unannounced, not responsibly, particularly behind the jab, they could get caught with a shot that can get them up out of there. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. Great matchup. 50-50 fight. I believe Claressa Shields will win a close decision. Now, will she get the decision in the UK? That remains to be seen. I'm saying how I'm going to score the fight. I can see the fight going to the judges. I mean, and the judges me, as far as me watching the fight. And I can see her winning this fight 6 rounds to 4. Now, the 3 judges that'll be watching this fight, when they turn in their scorecards, who knows what those scorecards will have as a winner of each scorecard. We will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. A lot of people worried about her getting robbed over there. And the fact that this fight, in my opinion, is going to be a very close fight, a very competitive fight. But I don't care if it's close. I don't care if it's competitive. Give it to the rightful winner. Give it to the person that actually won that fight. I don't want to see no John Ryder or Daniel Jacobs situation playing out in this fight. So we will see what happens. We will see what transpires. Now, I watched Spencer Fearon give a great analogy for this fight. He said this is the female version of Sugar Ray Leonard versus Thomas Hitman Hearns. And that's a great matchup as far as Savannah Marshall playing the role of Thomas Hitman Hearns and Claressa Shields playing the role of as Sugar Ray Leonard. So that could play out like that. And that was one of the great fights in welterweight history. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. But I have Shields 6 rounds to 4 in a very competitive fight. I believe both women will have their moments, but I just think the punch output, I think Claressa Shields will be able to implement her style more than Savannah Marshall will be able to implement her style. I think she will have to fight at Claressa Shields' pace. I think Claressa's going to be trying to fight at a faster pace. She's going to be trying to throw more punches per round. And I think Savannah Marshall is going to be trying to slow down the fight. I think she's going to try to fight at her pace, which is a very methodical pace. I'm not saying it's a slow pace, but it's a very methodical pace. And I think that Claressa is going to try to speed her up. And whichever fighter is able to implement their style of pace is going to win this fight. If the power comes into play and that makes Claressa not let her hands go like he's done in her previous fights, that's going to play into the advantage of Savannah Marshall. She'll be able to kind of keep that jab out, that probing jab, and basically tame her with the right hand. Now, she switches up to southpaw a little bit in her fights, but she seems very, very not smooth in that style. Let me just say it like that. She's very much a better fighter in orthodox stance. She tried to show that she's very versatile, and she switches over to a southpaw. But when she does that, she's not like Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury can go from southpaw to orthodox and fight at a high level in both stances. Savannah Marshall ain't mastered the southpaw stance, so if I'm her corner, I tell her to stay exclusively to the orthodox stance. Don't go to the southpaw stance unless things are going real bad in the fight and you're just trying to switch things up and give her a different look. Outside of that, you need to stay in the orthodox stance, in my opinion. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. Great matchup. I like Claressa 6 rounds to 4 in a very close competitive fight. Now, will the UK judges give her the nod? That remains to be seen. I'm very skeptical, but hopefully, the rightful winner will get the just decision. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. Let me know your thoughts on who you like in this particular matchup. You like Savannah Marshall or you like Claressa T-Rex Shields? Let me know your thoughts. And if you think it's going to go to decision, just put in the comment section by decision. But if you think they're going to get the knockout, give me the round you think the knockout is going to happen in. Let me know your thoughts. Follow me on Facebook, Gerard.Briscoe.3551. Like, share, and subscribe to JB Sports. The man, the myth, the legend. And I holla.